5 distressing signs showing that you're living in an emotionally suffocating relationship. Hi friends, welcome to Marriage Realities, a comprehensive relationship channel. Today's video will be talking about the distressing signs that clearly show that you're in an emotionally suffocating relationship. When you marry a spouse, all that you want is a relationship that makes you feel happy and fulfilled. But when your relationship with your spouse turns suffocating to you, you can only curse your ill luck for being married to a person who does not make you feel relaxed and comfortable. You feel jailed and imprisoned in your relationship as you cannot enjoy anything in your life. You do not enjoy a moment of peace in your relationship as you're not sure what sort of mentally draining problems your spouse might spring up on you. Why do you feel mentally drained when your relationship is emotionally suffocating to you? Your life with your spouse is itself an emotional affair. You deal with various types of emotions in your married life. It is quite impossible to do away with emotions in your relationship. You're adult enough to understand that you cannot always experience happiness in your relationship, but you're also human enough to expect fulfillment and satisfaction from your married life. It is normal to crave for love from your spouse. You crave for emotional support from your spouse. You want to laugh and have fun with your spouse. But nothing of this sort happens to you in your emotionally suffocating relationship. In fact, your spouse makes you feel emotionally drained, emotionally upset and highly stressed by behaving in a suffocating manner with you. Every emotion your spouse displays towards you is overwhelming and suffocating to you. You feel very unhappy that your personal space is being leashed by your spouse. When your spouse clings to you 24/7, demanding all your attention, you literally gasp for some freedom to enjoy your own personal space. Many a time, your over-possessive spouse makes you feel upset and caged by displaying his or her love for you in such an artificially excessive manner that you do not like it at all. This is not all of your misery. Your emotionally suffocating relationship makes you feel as though everything is lost in your life for you. You long for those days when you could be just yourself without having to put up with the emotional drama of your spouse. Shall we now have a look at the 5 upsetting signs that show you're in an emotionally suffocating relationship? The number 1 upsetting sign that you're in an emotionally suffocating relationship is the over-possessiveness of your spouse. When your spouse acts over-possessive towards you, you feel as though you're being held captive by him or her. It is because your spouse clings to you in the name of love 24/7. You cannot do a thing independently without your spouse demanding an explanation from you. When you watch a TV program alone, it is nothing short of being unloving and uncaring to your possessive spouse. You long to spend some fun time with your friends, but your spouse will not allow you to. There are times you want to spend your time alone, but your spouse leeches on to you. When you do your own thing without involving your spouse, he or she puts on a drama that you are drifting away from him or her. When you have to ask the permission of your spouse to do whatever you like, you feel as though you were a school-going kid. You do not like it a wee bit when your spouse demands each and every second of your life. All you can do is just long for a breath of freedom to be just yourself. The number 2 sign that you're living in an emotionally suffocating relationship is when your spouse acts the martyr. Your spouse puts on a show that he or she is doing everything to make you happy, and that only you do not reciprocate his or her love by being self-centered and selfish. When you're late from work, your spouse acts as though you're thrusting all family duties on his or her already sagging shoulders. Your spouse often wants confirmation about the status of your love for him or her. Your spouse pleads with you to be more loving and caring towards him or her even when you are loving and caring. You find it near impossible to put up with this sort of emotional drama from your spouse. When you have to keep on proving your love, you feel as though all your happiness is being squeezed dry by your spouse. Whenever there are fights and arguments between you, your spouse accuses you for ill-treating him or her. When your spouse depicts you as the villain of your relationship, you find the atmosphere in your married life suffocating to you. The number 3 sign that you're living in an emotionally suffocating relationship is when you have to forego your friends and family. In an emotionally suffocating relationship, you're not given permission to spend time with your friends. Your spouse becomes green with envy if you talk with your friends. If your friends are from the opposite sex, your spouse insults you as having an illicit affair. When you're late from work, your spouse starts a tirade against your friends or family as though they were the reason behind it. You cannot spend time with your family without your spouse cursing them for taking you away from him or her. You feel upset when you cannot help your family as your spouse intrudes into your duty as a son or daughter also. When you deny the freedom of spending time with your friends or family, you could only feel upset that you're the unluckiest person in this whole world. The number 4 sign you're living in an emotionally suffocating relationship is having to censor your words. Your spouse construes many hidden meanings into your most innocuous conversation and starts fighting about it. Your innocent comments are twisted and mauled by your spouse, so you're compelled to explain every word you use. You're terribly bored to talk with your spouse when you're compelled to censor each and every word you speak with him or her in the fear of being misunderstood. So your interaction with your spouse feels stilted and artificial to you. The number 5 sign that you're living in an emotionally suffocating relationship is suspicion and doubts. Your spouse has many doubts about you. You might be busy working in your workplace. You might also be spending time with your friends. But you cannot be peaceful anywhere. It is because you get persistent calls from your spouse wherever you are. Where are you? Whom are you with? Why are you late? When will you be back? So many doubting questions. Your inbox is also filled with messages demanding your whereabouts and with whom you are. When you return home, you're bombarded with doubtful questions from your spouse. You can only feel wild with anger at this unwarranted suspicion of your spouse. You hate it when you have to prove your innocence to your spouse. How exactly should you handle your life when your relationship is this suffocating and overwhelming to you? The foremost thing to do is have a frank talk with your spouse. You must make your spouse understand that wanting to do things alone does not mean lack of love. Whenever you're with your spouse, you should give him or her total attention so that he or she does not feel left out by you. When your spouse does not understand your point of view, you should not fall into depression that your marriage is not good enough for you. Do not bow to the unreasonable demands of your spouse and make your life even more torturous to you. Encourage your spouse to have his or her own personal interest. Can you see how overwhelming it could be to you when you're living in an emotionally suffocating relationship? Marriage Realities will have many such relationship eye-openers. Subscribe to my channel to understand your marriage in a new light. Press the bell icon for updates about my latest relationship videos. Make love forever until death do us part, your relationship goal.